Hi, my name is Ren Smith, and this video is about inclusion of children with Down syndrome. We happen to have Down syndrome, but it doesn't define who we are.
Down syndrome is the most common chromosomal disorder in humans. Children with Down syndrome have an extra part of chromosome 21, so either part of the chromosome or a complete extra copy. And that extra genetic material is what gives all the unique characteristics that children with Down syndrome have. So things from unique facial characteristics to different learning abilities, all the way to all the different effects that they may be at risk for in terms of medical issues. It's the most common chromosomal difference in humans. And right now the incidence is between every 1 in 650 to 1 in 800 babies are born with Down syndrome. Children with Down syndrome are at risk for lots of different medical issues, but again, the variation is very wide. In terms of the nervous system, children with Down syndrome often have low tone, and so those children can be at risk of having struggles with walking, with jumping, running, climbing. The other main nervous system involvement is in terms of intellectual disability, and so children with Down syndrome often have an intellectual disability that typically ranges in the mild to moderate range rather than the profoundly severe, although that can happen as well. From a cardiac or heart standpoint, nearly half of all children will have some kind of heart defect if they have Down syndrome. Some children with severe heart disease may have different exercise limitations, so it's important to be aware of that and to discuss that with parents, particularly in school and at recess. But again, some children have no heart defects at all. From a respiratory standpoint, children with Down syndrome often have some anatomic differences in their airway or their breathing tube. And so that can be a smaller airway. That can be an airway that's a little bit floppy and so collapses easily. So when they're laying down at night, they can have partial or complete collapse of that airway, which then can affect oxygen levels in their blood. And so the medical term for that is obstructive sleep apnea, or OSA. Children with untreated obstructive sleep apnea can have trouble focusing, paying attention in class. They can have lots of daytime sleepiness and fatigue. One of the ways we treat that is to use a special mask called a BiPAP or a CPAP mask, which is fitted over the mouth and then it's hooked up to a machine when they're sleeping that forces air into that airway and basically stents that airway open and prevents it from collapsing, so they have better sleep. Children who are being treated for obstructive sleep apnea often have a marked improvement in those symptoms in terms of attention and focus and learning and sleepiness. And so that's something important for teachers to pay attention to if they have children with those symptoms, to maybe mention that to the parents, because that could be impacting their learning. "50% to 60% of kids with Down syndrome will have some kind of visual problem. They can range from things like eyes turning in or out, or a lazy eye, or near or farsightedness, or cataracts. And so children with visual impairment may also benefit from sitting closer to the teacher, being near the front of the class to try and help their learning as well. Children with Down syndrome need to have frequent hearing assessments because, of course, we want to treat that hearing impairment if they have it. In terms of teaching, teachers can use more visual aids or have the children sitting close to the front of the class to help improve their hearing. Trying to reduce that external noise or that kind of buzz that's going on all the time can be helpful. Using hand gestures, big visual cues can be helpful for children with hearing impairment.
I would like remind everyone to always use a student's name and never label, but if you need to talk about a student with Down syndrome, say it like that, a student with Down syndrome. Do not say the Down syndrome child or the Down child. you wouldn't say the glasses kid. You say the children with glasses.
To help promote the speech, the language, and the social skills, use language and expect language from the child. It's giving them the ideas to use with another child, giving them the question words to use, like a can question, can I have that pencil, is sometimes needed. It's also giving them encouragement. You know, you can ask so-and-so for help. Rather than giving the child the help yourself, you can have them ask for help from their peers. Having a child with Down syndrome just even participate in taking their turn to talk in all context of the classroom routine. Speech that is loud, using eye contact with their peers at that time. Those are the opportunities that are most powerful. Look at every situation, look at how it can be modified. So if it's only giving them 2 questions to answer as compared to 10 questions that the other children are answering. If it's only expecting them to color one chunk or a piece of the picture as compared to all of the elements that the other children are completing. It's modifying the regular tasks of the day to then meet the needs of the child with Down syndrome so that they can be successful. Using the finger prompting strategy is very successful. Each time you use a word, you use a finger. This helps you slow down and use clear speech.
The support that occupational therapists provide is looking at motor skills, fine motor skills, gross motor skills, activities of daily living, how the child is doing with eating and dressing and all those important things during the day. Some of the strategies in the classroom to support the child with Down syndrome would include looking and exploring some sensory supports. Sensory processing is how the child is managing to keep themselves organized for learning. Weighted vests or weighted lap pads, because these can provide deep calming pressure into the body. Another strategy may be a water bottle that can be kept on the child's desk throughout the day, and then they can access that, because calming oral motor input can be really helpful as well. Children with Down syndrome can become easily overstimulated with the sights and sounds and the activity in the classroom. They can become easily distracted by background noise and activity, and this can impact their ability to focus and attend for learning. Taking some time to really explore what is truly calming for the child with Down syndrome can really help the child be the best they can be for learning. Some of these strategies may include listening to music through headphones and then allowing some time for some special interests such as painting and drawing. I think for the teacher to be best prepared to support a child with Down syndrome in the classroom, they need to find out a little bit about how they learn. Do they require visual supports to transition from activity to activity or to manage the frequent transitions in a classroom? The thing to keep in mind is that organizing activities such as movement breaks can not only help the child with Down syndrome, but can help every single child in the classroom. We all benefit from getting up and moving, from getting that blood circulating, from muscle activation to help us to be calm and organized.
I know when I met with Wyatt's mom in June, I said, okay, give me all the stuff you have.
I did what I call Wyatt's resume, and we talked a lot about Wyatt's personality and, you know, how to get him engaged. He might not want to count little ducks, but he'll count T-Rexes. So what kind of things could you do to get him engaged?
Then I just thought, well, we'll see what happens when he gets there. And I kind of learned as I went. I did get the school to buy some great resources about how to teach kids with Down syndrome.
And I think that him and Mrs. Brayback have connected so well because she loves to teach and he loves to learn. It's a perfect combination.
Kids with Down syndrome often reach plateaus. So it seems like they're going, and then they stop, and you think they're not learning. But then eventually it clicks.
Everybody knows him here, and he feels very safe in this environment for sure. He loves to watch the other kids, That's part of his learning style, is just imitating. So that's what's an important part of inclusion, is being there and watching the other kids and watching them role model what we want him to do.
It's been really nice to meet Wyatt.
Well, Gracie loves Wyatt. She loves playing with him. She loves any accomplishment of Wyatt's is an accomplishment of hers too. Like, she takes that on personally. She's like, oh, you should hear what Wyatt did. And
What I've learned from Wyatt is he can do a lot of things, that he's awesome, can run really fast.
having Wyatt in the class teaches so much. It teaches them about compassion. It teaches them patience. It teaches them that people learn differently, that it's okay to be different. It enforces all those values you're trying to teach your child.
Sometimes Wyatt forgets stuff, but then me and my best friend Eve always help him with all the stuff that he needs help with. Without Wyatt, I think I wouldn't have as much fun in Mrs. Riggs' class, because it's really fun having him.
Can you guys sing any songs for us? Do you guys know anything in
Yep.
music class? What's a song, Wyatt?
See. Ready? My happy world way, and that love you, and takes our son away.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sorry.
What are you thinking about?
That I don't want him to go to grade 2. And I'd just like to keep him because we had so much fun and I know he has so much more potential. So I'm sad. But I'm happy for him because he's done so well.
Ultimately, inclusion is important because children are motivated by their peers, and children like to talk to their friends.
Children are the best teachers in this circumstance, by far. They accepted him as Wyatt, who likes dinosaurs, and no more than that.
I think it teaches the other kids a lot about patience and tolerance and understanding and accepting kids with differences, because you're going to have a whole bunch of kids in your class that don't necessarily have Down syndrome, but they're going to be different and they are going to have things they need to work on, and they may have some physical disabilities that they have as well. And I think the more that the kids are exposed to it, it's a norm, it's part of life. And they see it as, okay, this is how life goes.
They understand that it might take Wyatt a little bit longer to do things, or it takes him a little bit longer to learn how to say things, and they've been extremely patient and have accepted him completely.
And it gives them a role of teaching as well, so they all want to help Wyatt in the classroom. They want to teach him, they want to show him things, and they feel proud of themselves. So it empowers the kids as well, and it empowers the teachers. I feel better about it. Am I going to be nervous next year or in 5 years down the road when they say, oh, we have a boy with Down syndrome or a girl with Down syndrome coming in? Yeah, sure, I'll take him, why not?
This is my last year for school, and I'm taking science, and my father works at the oil company, and I think I'm going to work there with him. I swim a lot, I swim with the Lords. I swim in grade 11 and grade 12. I love my school. I go there all the time. Inclusion does work.